just?
Just one point, it kind of goes along with EJ's, is that you're never going to be able to do everything you're supposed to do. You're never going to be able to read for every single class, but like Hannah said, find somebody that can kind of help you with, or actually, that was Megan, that can help you with the class and just divvy up the work and you'll be fine. Just prioritize like your major classes, yeah, do as much work for those as you can, but a lot of the gen ed classes, if you don't get to everything, just make sure you get by and you'll be fine.
Going off what she said, if you forget to do homework before you get to class, some homeworks are not due until the end of class, so I would just read your class. It's not a big deal. You don't have to freak out and not go to class for it. Just get it done eventually.
And not showing up to class does take points off of your overall grade. Sometimes you might have a B in the class, but teachers like, hey, they came every day. Even if they didn't participate per se, you were there, and they'll give you a chance. Not every professor would.
Going off of that, even though it's a little bit off topic, make sure to go to office hours if you have questions, or even just to meet the professor, because especially if you're in a large lecture hall, they don't know any of the students, and so that puts you on their radar. Also, don't not turn in assignments if you miss the deadline, because a lot of times you can still get credit or partial credit, or like if you had something come up, don't just like be resigned in the fact that you did get a turn to talk to that professor about it.
All right, so this next question, the question itself is, how is living in a dorm different than at home? But I think we're gonna have everyone answer this one. And just describe like what, because not everyone, we have some commuters and things here. So describe your living situation, if you've changed living situations, what are the pros and cons of dorm living versus apartment living versus commuting if you've switched around. So we'll start with Caleb at the end there.
I was really excited to start living outside of my home. I know you get a lot more responsibilities that are tacked on to you, but I really enjoyed sort of the solo life, even though you do have a roommate, so there are some shared responsibilities there. The only problem I had was how small my dorm room was, and a lot of times it is going to be really small for your freshman year. After that, you sort of get to choose where you live. So I didn't spend a lot of time, and I didn't like to spend a lot of time in my room because it was very cramped, very claustrophobic. So I did a lot of my studying at the library or even in other people's rooms because they had bigger rooms, or they didn't have roommates there, or they were maybe a little neater than I was. So I think it was overall a good experience. There's a lot of different stuff you have to, adjust to, but my biggest problem was the fact that there are small living rooms.
I lived on campus for my freshman year, and I would say overall it was a good experience. Me and my roommate weren't like best friends or anything, just kind of got along, and I mean that's okay. I just wanted to live on campus to get skills on how to live with someone else. That's going to be important down the line, but just because you're not best friend with your roommate, that's okay. It's just getting skills of living with someone else, and like Caleb, I do my studying outside of my room as well.
I lived on campus, and I had a room all to myself all my years of college. Luckily, somehow my roommates ended up being injured or dropping out of school somehow for 2 years. So, but I think it's a pro to stay on campus and stay in the dorm because you get more experience and you get to interact with more people. Even if you don't like your roommate, there's other people down the hall, or if you need help with your homework, there's someone next door. There's usually someone with your major around the door.
I commuted, but I always tell people Malone should charge me like tuition, room and board, because I was there like at all hours of the night. So I do think it's okay to commute. Like I still am really happy with my college experience, but I don't have like the whole living with someone else and being completely independent. I still am home, so I do encourage everyone who can afford it or who wants to, if it's not a requirement to live on campus at least for a semester.
On-campus living situations are going to be different for every university you go to. So for me, I still live on campus. It's a matter of it's not stressful for me. I don't have to deal with real estate that way. But I have 2 roommates. I live in a studio, but I have my own bathroom. I have my own kitchen. But just because of the nature of my school, I still live like 20 minutes away from where my classes take place. So it really on campus is going to be different for everyone, and it's really what you want to live with. Some on-campus things, if like you want your own bathroom, there's going to be a shared bathroom for your entire floor. So if that's a no-go for you, then on campus, that's not for you. So it really depends on what your campus has available for you. It depends on how far away you want to be from your classes. It depends on how much time you spend on campus. So I'm on campus from like 8 a.m. to like 2 a.m. So it really just depends on who you are.
Yeah, I've lived in dorms and I've lived in apartments. The nice thing about dorms is that it's only one room that you have to take care of and stuff like that. You don't have to clean your bathroom or anything like that, but you also have to like shower when people aren't showering, which sometimes you have to stay awake for like 5 hours in order for a shower to become available when you go in. But I mean, apartment living's nicest because you can cook, like you're more independent, you don't have to do the food plan and stuff like that. But then you have to clean the bathroom, you have to clean the kitchen yourself, and that's kind of when tensions rise with roommates, in my experiences, in apartment living versus dorm living.
So Ohio State mandates that you live on campus for the first 2 years. So I've been in a dorm both years. Dorms are convenient. There's food right across the street. Your classes are 5 minutes away. You don't have to wake up half an hour just to get there earlier. It's convenient. But apartments, you have your freedom. You can do what you want when you want. So it's just case by case.
So I've lived in 3 different situations. My first situation was awful because my roommate was awful. Just like in a small dorm area. Then I had my own room for the first half of my second year, and I lived now I live in a fraternity house. And I would say that so as far as dorm living is like glorified summer camp. So you're just around people 24/7. It's, for me anyway, being an extrovert, it's amazing. That's where I met a lot of my friends. They have this thing that's really cool called an open door policy at a lot of places, where if you're not like changing or studying or whatever, you leave your door open and just let people walk in and say hi. That was incredible for me, like just getting to meet all these new people. Living by myself, the reason I moved into the fraternity house is because I was trying to save money by living by myself on campus, and I just was miserable. I hated just being alone that often. But then I will say that like moving into the fraternity house, I've had the experience of living with 30 plus guys in a house. To be fair, it's built for like 50, but to live in this house, and it is incredible. I have experiences that I'll never forget, just living around all these leaders and being around all these great people on campus, especially for those people who are planning on going to Akron. There's this national conference thing that happens every year where like Greek life gets examined by this board and stuff like that. And so our school, Valparaiso, wins like first place every year for just like the best Greek community as far as academics and community service and stuff. Akron is always second place if we're behind us. So we're talking about like nationally recognized. Akron has one of the best Greek communities in the nation. So if you guys are going to Akron, I would definitely look into that because it's incredible.
I would say that dorm living was good. It was fun. You met a lot of people. The only thing that you also have to think about when you live in dorms, I don't know if it's for every school, but I'm pretty sure you have fire drills. So we would have them at 3 in the morning, and I lived in a dorm. I lived on the 12th floor. There were 16 floors. So we couldn't take the elevator back down. We had to walk all the way back up at 3 in the morning. It's not fun, and then also I had a community bathroom, so getting used to the hair in the shower and the sink, I didn't ever have to deal with that, so that was new. But other than that, it was convenient, it was fun, you met a lot of people. They have things like, they have ice cream socials and stuff like that for in the dorm, but yeah, you just have to deal with more people, I guess that's the only bad thing. And restricted hours, we had to check in guests and all that stuff.
I would, one extra thing. I know we're making it sound like it's rough to live in the community bathrooms, all that stuff. I would say that similarly to if all you want to do is get good grades, if all you want to do is live in cushy housing while you're at school, and that's what you want to pay for, then go to a community college or something like that. and then just rent a really nice apartment if that's what you want to spend your money on. If like, you should be looking at what the school has to offer you first, and whether or not you're going to have your own shower in the morning should be at like the bottom of your list. When it comes to like, stuff like that. Okay, so we're going to do, because we're running out of time here, we're just going to like, I'm just going to ask a question. You can just give like quick thoughts on it. We're just going to kind of go down the list here. We got a lot of moving on the list. So, are career, co-op, and internship fairs worth attending while you're at school?
The freshmen usually don't actually go to the career fairs every day.
Hello? Alright, there we go. The freshmen don't actually go to the career fair and everything because our school is very focused on co-ops, so what the people there are looking for are people who are ready to go into a job that exact summer. Now, if you still want to go just to see the atmosphere and everything, that is encouraged, but again, it does take a lot of time and there is a lot of people there looking specifically for juniors, seniors, some sophomores, depending on what your resume and what you're capable of doing following summers and stuff like that.
I would say that they're absolutely worth going to. At my school specifically, they have like job fairs, but not for like the rest of your life job fairs, or like on-campus jobs and jobs in the immediate area. Those are really awesome. You can meet some really cool people, find a really cool job in your area.
I think they definitely are. That's how I got my internship this summer. Because typically the people who are going to come to those fairs, the companies, they have strong relationships with your school, and so they want to hire people from your school to fill their internship positions, to fill their co-op positions. And also every company recruiter I've ever talked to, they're always going to say they want to hire somebody who they like upon meeting, who can talk like an academic or whatever, who can be personable to them, because they'd rather fill you in that position and go through like a week more of training with you than to hire somebody who they've never met, because they don't know. So going to a career fair basically can get you an interview room versus somebody who just sends it online.
Okay, next one. How are you guys planning on paying for college?
Scholarship, loans. I pay all through scholarship and federal loans. Those are really, and work. I do work study. So those are really the best options that I've found. If you can pay for it all through scholarships, guys, just do it.
I was going to say loans have been very helpful to me. Don't be afraid to loan shop. I know loans sound kind of simple, but don't be afraid to look for lower interest rates. Don't be afraid to look for your options. There's a lot of options around this area where there's like a group of businessmen in Canton that just give out loans at super low return rates, as long as you're from the start Canton area. So don't be afraid to look for those.
And I will also say, try and make payments on your loans while you're in school. They also tell you to do that, and I pay like my interest while I'm in school. It's not a lot, like it's never more than like $50, but it does build up, so when you get out, you have less to worry about.
Just add on to that, just paying my first student loan payment last week. It's a terrible experience. Yes, make sure you guys are applying for scholarships off the route, because it does take money off. Like EJ said, loan shop, and if you do that, call your financial aid office and talk to them, see if they recommend it, things like that, or what type of loans you should avoid. Make sure you call, if not your financial aid office, a financial advisor, like work.
All right, next one. How do you balance work? How do you balance work and school?
Set how many hours you're willing to work in a week and don't go over that limit. So if you decide that you're only willing to work 15 hours a week, you've told your employer this, and they put you over, say, we agreed on this when you hired me that I was only going to work this amount of hours. So I find it's better to manage how much time I work, and that frees me up for my time to study. I don't know if it works better for somebody else to just kind of say this is what I'm going to study, but that's what I do. I manage my work first and then just study every other time.
All right, I would say on top of that, Google Calendars are amazing. iPhone calendars are amazing. You can literally just say, hey Siri, make an appointment for this time, and that'll help you balance out. When tests, like I put, when every single test I have, homework assignment, the time of my class, every work shift that I have, every time I know I'm going to have to be in the office or whatever, I have that all on my Google Calendar, and I get alerts 15 minutes and 5 minutes before I'm supposed to be there, or before those assignments are due. And then technology is incredible. It'll connect through your computer, your phone, all of that. If you have an Apple Watch, it'll buzz if you want to when you need to get to work or turn something in. So I think that's a really good way to manage it.
I would also say what I learned from a panel discussion when I was leaving Alumni, have your work done. Say you'll have your work done by a certain time. So I know a guy said that he had all his schoolwork done by Friday. So I set a goal. So I'm like, I'm gonna have all my work done by 2 o'clock every day, so that if I have work later or if I just want to chill later, then I'll do that, and all my homework's done all the time.
I'm going to ask this for the commuters. Is there Justine, are you the commuter on the panel?
Aaron.
Okay, so can you still be involved with student organizations even though you commute to school?
They're not gonna tell you no. They're not gonna no, you cannot. I was involved, like I said, in MSU. I was actually the president, which was weird for a lot of people because, I don't even go here I go there, but I don't go there. That doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, that's what yes, you can be a part of everything. They're not gonna tell you no because you're paying just like everyone else.
Yes.
Is there any hope to fix things if you bomb your first year of college?
You can always retake classes and change your grade. So if you fail a class or drop out of class, not the end of the world. You should take it next semester or take it on the summer or take it during your own time.
Lots of schools have freshman forgiveness, so they try and make it really possible if you just aren't there first year, that you can still graduate.
And you guys really, if you continue to do what you did in early college, you aren't gonna bomb your first year. If you study like you were supposed to and are involved like you are now, you're not gonna bomb your first year. You'll be fine. Early college prepares you very well.
I would just say before you get that in your head, if you're struggling or you have too much on your course load, there's always a drop deadline. So don't be afraid to drop a class if you don't think that you can handle it, because that'll save you in the long run from bombing. You can drop it and re-add it as long as you get before the withdrawal date, which that'll have a W on your transcript, which that's okay too, but drop it as soon as possible so that you can avoid that.
Yeah, speaking from experience, German was not for me. Should have dropped it. My GPA is now lower because I did it. Okay, really, this is going to be our last question. And then, right as we're doing our last question, we're also going to put out a poll just asking if you guys felt like we answered this correctly, or any suggestions that you might have. Also, feel free to come and talk to us after the session, ask any questions. And there's a lot of questions we didn't get to, which is really awesome, because we have a lot more this year than last year. We all have our specialties and things like that. So for our last question, what was something that early college didn't teach you about college that you wish they did or could?
Not necessarily.
Yeah, okay. I'll just say that one of the things I wish that early college would have taught us about a little bit more is just better study habits. I know that during the freshman session or the summer session when we had a study class that we took. But like some of these people were saying, I felt like at certain points, like Caleb said, our workload wasn't heavy enough, or we didn't take enough tests to really mirror what the college experience is like. And so I wish we would have had a little more help with studying and reliable study tips. Because we were in the study tips class, we were talking about doing one of those notes where you take notes on the side and Cornell notes, which then they were 2 months later and came out with research saying that was ridiculous. So just study skills and the importance of prioritizing your school.
Find your own studying was huge for me too. That was, even though you know how to study in early college, make sure I was studying how I was taught to study, Cornell notes. Make sure you find your own studying techniques. I didn't even figure that out until my sophomore year being at Malone, which you would think you had not had, but I did not. So studying and time management.
So,
Okay, Okay, so just to go on what Justine said, time management and then the amount of workload that you have. Just because you have free time doesn't mean you should not be doing anything.
I would wish, like, for early college to work more on group work, because with college we did a lot of group work. Working in teams, working with other students, partnering up. Honestly, I hate working with other people, but with group work, because I want it done my way. So, and they have a different way of doing it. You gotta learn how to communicate and not tell them, no, work as a group.
This is not about that question, but I really love my study abroad experience. So I want to share with all of you, if you have an opportunity, even if it's, a retreat, like we go on retreats to upstate New York, it's a great time to bond with people. You're gonna have those friends throughout the school year. They can be your support system, they can keep you sane. So even if it's a small retreat or if it's a study abroad experience, they all just teach you, it gives you so many lessons. And a lot of times, Hannah found this out, when you apply for internships, when you study abroad, they know that you can function on your own, away from your comfort zone at your university.
Also, the Disney College program is great.
Just for comment on students who kind of fallen out for a semester or two. So I'll tell you the experience the last 3 or 4 years with camp. Most of it is that the students take on too many activities to begin with. And that leads to some issues. So yes, there was some other things. Yes, there was partying. Yes, there was other things. But most of the time, it's a workload issue. Graduates, you'll have a liaison. I don't know if you want to comment on the liaisons. Basically, it's our time for the operating committee to connect with grads and say hi and ask if they need anything, how they're doing. Those are the most important things. Then, if you're in the last couple of years, we check on our equipment. How's that doing? And we see if you need anything. So I don't know if you want to comment on that, but that's like.
Mark is the worst. No, I'm just kidding. It's been really helpful. It's nice to just come back to Canton and or just have a phone call with someone who has been through it already. Specifically because I'm an accounting major, I know I called Mark and asked him to help me. Like he just gave me some tips on a big tax project that I was working on because he gets it, he understands it, he knows about it. With my internship when I was at Goodyear, struggling with some stuff that I was going through there, just like some workplace things that I was going through. He was an extraordinary help. And I just I don't know, we just go out and get coffee sometimes and hang out. Really, it's really helpful.
Yeah, so my liaison was Mr. Venturella, and I honestly thought it was just really great, because most of the times I would just call him while I was walking home from class, and we would just talk about the semester, talk about the month, all the classes I'm going through. And even if I don't need help from him exactly, I can still reach out to him and have him help me connect to other people part of the camp program and get help from them. So I think that's honestly, it's very beneficial.
Yeah, my liaison is Debbie Myers, and I just love her. We talk more than once a month usually whenever I'm over at school, and it's just great. I mean, you give them an update on what's going on, and then it usually just leads into email, so you guys get to talk. I mean, maybe not for everyone, but we just talk about kind of anything that's going on, and it's really nice just to have that relationship with someone when you're away at school, because sometimes you will get fed up with people you're surrounded by constantly, and they're a nice kind of fresh relationship.
My liaison is Mrs. Ventrella, and I absolutely love her. And not only Mrs. Ventrella, I've gone to their house plenty of times where they're able to offer me their own experience from working and being in school, or their children's experience. Even things that I can do after, I graduated a month ago, but they're still having me, to this day, with real life experience. That's awesome. And then still being able to be connected with other members of the operating committee to do further networking even outside of camp, so it's definitely beneficial to talk to your liaison.
My liaison is Mrs. Metro, but I forgot for a second. But anyway, if like you have work like a lot of workload or a lot of things on your plate, just having someone tell you to relax, it's gonna be fine. It's really beneficial.
Yeah, I'm going to speak for Mr. LaRocca, myself, and even Ken Bruner and Mrs. V, but we enjoy it, you know, as much as you guys do too. Because we love all of you, and we love the fact that you're still in camp and you come back, and you're never going to leave camp unless you want to. We're not going to kick you out. If you've graduated, there's not a lot of attendance issues that we have to deal with, but you know, if you don't show up at all, you know, Mrs. Bruner and Mr. Bruner and I make a decision, well, they're just not interested anymore, and we're going to have to cut them loose. Loose means we don't communicate with them, we don't put their books out, you know, that's it, they're gone. The benefits, and these are each individual cases, and their stories are still being formulated. And I don't know where they're going to go, but if you don't mind, I'll use you, Justine. So Justine started in the Spark Glenmore. Justine then went and did an apprenticeship at West Medical, continued her studies. Justine had a psychology degree, and when she got that degree, I think she was a little confused about what to do after that. Mrs. Myers set her up with a shadowing opportunity in the Human Resource Department at Timken, and Justine absolutely loved it. Justine is now going on to a master's, which will allow her to go into human resources. You really can't get in there without a special degree. What is the degree?
It's a master's or doctorates in industrial organizational psychology.
Industrial organizational psychology. Still psychology, but that's the extension. In the meantime, Justine got a job in admissions at Malone, which will pay for her higher education. So I'm just giving you one instance. Now, after she's done and completed, I am positive that Mrs. Myers and Mr. Myers, who happens to run human resources in Timken, will give Justine whatever support and help she needs. So that's one individual, and there are varying degrees of cases that I can point you to. We do try to match the liaisons with your career. So Mr. LaRocca is the liaison for Matt Zigley and for Jack Pearson, who both major in engineering. Mr. LaRocca spent over 45 years in engineering. So we try to maintain the connections from a career perspective and also the personal connection. So it just dawned on me actually yesterday that I think I'm going to send you guys a survey to see a couple of things. What are we not doing in camp that you think we could be doing, okay, better, and get your input, okay? Because I think, and we're really, Alec Milnes and Zach Helfer are not here. They're from the first graduating class. But really, the next level is going to come as you graduate. And the help that we can give as an operating committee is we're going to have to bolt on, you know, more of that networking services if in fact you want it. We don't push anything down. Yes, EJ?
Just really quick, I just put up a poll in the Slido, just asking for what improvements we can make to the panel, things you'd like to see next time we do it. So if you guys want to go ahead and answer that, you'll be able to answer it for a while after the camp session ends.
Could you do it, please? I have one last question for you guys, and that deals with communications. I know the last time we did this panel, the question about communications came up, and you were discussing email and how important email was in negotiating your way through college life. Can you guys just comment on that for a second?
I have 6 email addresses for all of the things that I'm involved with. I have a professional, a business, one for my vice president of the student body, one for my standards, one for my fraternity, and a couple others, and I check them at least 3 times a day. Again, with phones being in existence, there's never an excuse to miss an email because you'll get a notification similarly. You'll get a notification similarly as you would for a text. So it's really important to just have it on your phone.
Yeah, email is how everyone is going to try and contact you. Most mass email or mass communications that go out for clubs, it's going to be email. That's how the registrar is going to contact you. Everyone is going to email you in college. So it's really important that you check that. Also, email is also how you find out that your class is canceled. So you don't have to walk through the snow.
Oh, so maybe that's the trick.
Yeah, check it
That's the
every
trick.
morning to see if your class
Because
is canceled.
I don't mind telling you, probably the biggest thing that makes me nervous about any of you guys is we gave you a laptop and we'd send you an email, and less than 50% of you, probably 25% of you, were looking at the emails and responding. Unless it was a text, we didn't get a response from you. That worries me when these people tell me that the most important thing you can do is check email, and you're not doing it. But maybe that's the trick. You don't find out what's going on with your classes unless you check email, or maybe that's the thing that triggers it. But I would get into the practice right now